Hey, hello everybody, this is Golden here. This video is going to be a little bit different than my usual type of content. I don't really tend to talk about little discussions or really do anything in relation to what's going on at the current moment because, I don't know, I don't really have much interest in talking about all the speculation, all the rumors, all that. But I've noticed it a lot in the past few weeks in relation to Mario's 40th anniversary. Now, the reason why it's a big deal for a lot of people right now, a lot of Mario fans, is because last time we had something as substantial as like a milestone was we got a Nintendo Direct for it, which is the Mario 35th anniversary Direct. I do want to talk a little bit about that one in retrospect, at the very least, because I had some things to say about it. But yeah, I do want to put my hat on the ringer for this little discussion. I want to go ahead and talk about some points that I've noticed when around those circles of, oh, what could be announced for Mario's 40th. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna do that. This video is going to be more on the unscripted side. I'm just going to be talking out of mostly what I think, like what I think is gonna happen. So yeah. So the first thing I want to go ahead and point out is a bit of a retrospective look on the 35th anniversary. In hindsight, the 35th anniversary announcements were just kind of very bizarre. They were just kind of very. I don't think it was that great because the only great thing that came out of this is 3D World. And that's already like a great game for the Wii U that was just being ported to the Switch. So I don't have a lot of expectation, like because of this entire direct itself. Really, I don't really have that high of an expectation for anything for this Nintendo Direct or 40th anniversary announcement because I really do not expect a lot out of it. I'm keeping any expectations in check. I'm not expecting anything too grand or anything. But I do want to talk about a couple of points that I've definitely heard a lot of people talk about in relation to Mario's 40th. At least I've heard some people say that we could get a 3D Mario game announced. I'm I really don't know if we're gonna get a 3D Mario announcement sometime this year. At most, I expected next year we'd get an announcement of sorts, but I really don't have that high of an expectation for Nintendo to announce a 3D Mario game for their 40th anniversary. It just seems like extremely wishful thinking, and I don't know. It just didn't seem like the likely option to me. I feel like they would go for something a little bit more smaller scaled, or at least what they would consider to be smaller scaled anyway. So I have no real thought on just the whole new 3D Mario announced for the 40th anniversary. I do actually want to talk about something that did pique my interest though, which was the rumored new Super Mario Bros. Collection. This was apparently the leaked game that had substantial evidence posted, and a lot of people they believed it for like a few days, and then oh wait, no, it's debunked. It's actually fake. So yeah, this is a thing that probably isn't actually going to happen, but I still want to talk about it because I would not be surprised if Nintendo would actually put out a game like this, a collection of three of the remaining new Super Mario Bros. Games that are not on the Switch. So it just seems like something Nintendo would really do. And thinking about it, I really feel like this kind of game would be either a multi-release for both Switch and Switch 2 or just Switch 2 exclusive. And I did originally wanted to go ahead and make a video about like a potential like what a new Super Mario Bros. Collection would turn out to be, but I didn't really I didn't think it would be interesting to talk about, so I just didn't do it. But if a new Super Mario Bros. Collection did actually happen, I think I would be a lot more shocked that they even did something like this. I wouldn't complain at all, honestly, mostly because I really enjoyed the new Super titles. I know it's a very bold statement, but we got Mario Bros. Wonder. I really don't think it's worth just kind of bashing on like these games at this point because we at least got a Mario game that is creative, so we don't need to be like 2016 and go, yeah, These games suck, actually. I don't know. Maybe you guys still think it sucks. I don't. I just think they're neat. This one's definitely something I would expect Nintendo to announce just out on the front. They could probably announce some DLC for Mario Kart World. I'm going off with the basis of a supposed rumor that there could be DLC like brand new characters or something for Bonanza. I think. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to that a whole bit. I just heard about it and just went, oh, okay. But I definitely do see Nintendo putting out some announcement for Mario Kart World. And now here's something that really confuses me a bit. I've seen people say and discuss about the possibility of Super Mario 3D All Stars having a Switch 2 edition or some kind of like expansion or whatever, I don't know. And this also kind of correlates to something else that's semi-related, but like it's treated as like its own separate thing, which is Super Mario Galaxy 2. I really don't know why a lot of people are I guess it's because, there's like a couple of Switch 1 titles are getting Switch 2 editions. Like obviously there's Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. But I think with those, to my recollection anyway, I believe Switch 2 editions, they're making use of the Switch 2's features. And other than mouse controls, I really don't see anything for 3D All-Stars that would make it worthy for a Switch 2 edition, because I don't think it's going to really utilize as much of the Switch 2's features outside of course, mouse controls. But like even then, that's just another way to use like the cursor for like one or two games. And that's the thing, the Switch 2 edition would potentially have Mario Galaxy 2, but it's just Mario Galaxy 2. I really don't think you could do anything that would make it worthy of a Switch 2 title, or Switch 2 edition, sorry. It really just seems kind of unfair in a way if you think about it. Imagine this, okay, so you didn't get 3D All-Stars, right? And you really didn't want to like shell out a bunch of money to get it, and like it's unavailable for people that didn't buy it around the period that it's released. And even after, because apparently there's like some sightings of 3D All-Stars being on shelves. I don't think it's like that anymore, but at a point there was. And then Nintendo announces 3D All-Stars Switch 2 edition, and it just seems like a punch in the gut because, oh, you can't even get access to it. It's like an exclusive club. Unless Nintendo decides to like do a rerun of the 3D All-Stars, I really don't see any potential or any possibility of the 3D All-Stars Switch 2 edition to be a reality. On the same boat, I've at least seen at least one or two discussions or posts about Super Mario Galaxy 2 being a standalone release. This one kind of rubs me off the wrong way though. I think it's just because it's in the same vein as like Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and Skyward Sword HD. It's just an enhanced Wii port, which I think would have like quality of life improvements and maybe upscaled graphics, but that's really all I can see for the re-release. And I don't know, it kind of just rubs me off the wrong way, Like, I love Galaxy 2, like, Galaxy 2 is just a great game in general, but I don't know, I think it would rub me off the wrong way if I saw, like, a Galaxy 2 release on the Switch, or Switch 2, or whatever platform it just ends up on. It's just, man, I don't know. On the discussion on the like what games could be announced, I've definitely heard at least once about the Super Mario Maker 3. I can't believe I didn't think about that. Like, it's like the most predictable thing ever, and it did not come into my mind immediately. But I think, honestly, I really would like to see a Mario Maker 3 for the Switch 2, if only because of the mouse controls. I really love the Mario Maker series of games, except for 3DS. That one is just kind of a pointless addition. But other than that, I really like the Mario Maker games. But I've always had a bit of a qualm with Mario Maker 2 in terms of level creation, because unless you're doing in handheld mode, you're kind of just forced to do these like button controls on like TV, and it just doesn't really feel that right. It feels a little sluggish. It does, like, it's not like a complete detriment in my experience, but it definitely doesn't have the same feel and impact that the Wii U does, or even in handheld mode for Mario Maker 2. So with the mouse controls being an option for a potential Mario Maker 3, I could definitely see level creation being a lot more feasible, a lot more convenient. maybe a little bit more annoying, but that just kind of comes natural with the mouse control setup or something like that. I could definitely see like maybe some features that utilizes the mouse controls as well, and maybe something else. I don't remember anything else that the Switch 2 offers. I just know the mouse controls and the weird game chat thing. But yeah, that's just kind of something that I would definitely like to see. But I don't know if I would say it's on my bingo card for a announcement for Mario's 40th anniversary. I definitely have seen people talk about Mario Baseball, and I definitely wouldn't rule out the idea that Nintendo could do a Mario Baseball game for Switch. My only concern really is just the way Nintendo just goes about with the sports titles, mostly on the Switch's era, because obviously the rather infamous Tennis Aces and Super Rush, and oh my god, Battle League. Man, this was not a very good. This wasn't really a great spot for any of the Mario sports games. Even Mario Strikers, which hadn't had an installment since the Wii, it came back and it was like, wow, it was such a disappointment for like most other people. I didn't get it, mostly because I haven't really had any time to really sit down and play Mario Strikers. I really should play Mario Strikers. It's been on my radar for quite a bit. But I'm getting off topic. The point of the matter is, that's just kind of like my main concern for a Mario Baseball game for Switch, is that I fear that Nintendo would handle this game in kind of a similar way to those other titles, and it would just not really feel great. This is like in the same case for Strikers, where there hasn't been a Mario Baseball game since the Wii, so it's more of a make or break situation, to be honest. And also, I've seen like discussions on like a Switch 2 edition for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I could see it. I could honestly see there being a Switch 2 edition for Mario Wonder. I think it's more notable because it's not exactly part of the Switch 1 titles that gets like the free upgrade pack, which has more enhanced graphics and frame rate, I think, as well as other features, of course. I think the Switch 2 edition for Mario Bros. Wonder could just be like a more of an expansion, like maybe some more difficult levels. Yeah, I think those are the only two that just popped into my mind just now. I can't believe it took me until just the end of this recording. My brain just goes, hey, wait, I just remembered now. Man, isn't memory weird? I definitely have heard at least a couple of discussions around the possibility of there being a announcement for the next Mario movie. I think some people would say it's a sequel, but I personally feel like they were... With the way Nintendo worded it with the one announcement, it makes me feel like it's not exactly the Mario movie sequel, but more so a movie based around the Mario universe. I feel like it could potentially be something entirely different. My guess, honestly, would be either a Luigi's Mansion film or a Donkey Kong film. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think the voice actors for Luigi and DK from the Mario movie have certainly mentioned the fact that they would like to reprise the roles in a standalone film featuring these characters. I think, and I honestly wouldn't mind if it's one or the other. Like, a Luigi's Mansion film would have at least sufficed. Like, the one thing I've had a bit of gripes with the Mario movie itself, which was just Luigi doesn't show up as often. And I'd argue Luigi's like one of the better parts of the film. Although, it's been a bit since I've seen that, so maybe I could be wrong. I doubt it. I definitely like a bit of the Luigi bits in the movie. And however you feel about Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, I feel like a Donkey Kong movie would be a little bit interesting. If nothing more, it would probably be more like a loose adaptation of the Donkey Kong Country, I guess. That's kind of the only thing I could really think about for a Donkey Kong movie, because otherwise it would just be like, oh, a typical DK movie. He just kind of does his little adventures. I'm not saying that it couldn't be like that. The Mario movie was really just like a... I feel like it's like a love letter to the Mario series. But, you know, it's just... I'm just throwing out, like, what I think about, like, potential movie ideas. I think in short summary, I really don't have much of a high expectation for Mario's 40th anniversary. I'm keeping all of this in check, just given that the last anniversary event was just kind of fine. So I'm not expecting anything major or too big, like a new 3D Mario game or Mario Galaxy 2 coming to the Switch. I'm really just keeping things smaller scale. Like, I would not be surprised if there was DLC announced for Mario Kart World, or there's a Switch 2 edition for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I definitely would love to be surprised though for anything. I'm just keeping my expectations in check, you know? But anyway, yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. I know this video is just kind of like me rambling, going all over the place, but I really wanted to get all of this out of my chest. And allowing myself to just kind of talk about it in a more natural way instead of just following a script it feels nice, you know? Not saying that scripts are like bad or anything. I just find it really hard for me to really write a script for something that's relevant to the topic. And again, I usually don't do videos like these where I talk about things that are just currently relevant in the moment. I've certainly had experiences with that when I've done things like reaction videos for anything, really. I tried to do one for Kirby Air Riders, but like I finished it, and like both the thought process of editing this is going to be a nightmare, and the fact that by the time I'm finished with it, it'd be like hours pass, and like the hype has kind of died down. I could upload it just by itself, but nah, it's just me silence most of the time. It wouldn't be as interesting. But yeah, those are just my general thoughts on just the whole discussion and speculation around the Mario 40th anniversary. I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys hope for with this 40th anniversary? Are you expecting something major? Are you expecting something a little bit more smaller scaled? Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comments below. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Remember that Stu cares about you, and you have a good day.
Got a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch!